Christmas in America is more than just a holiday. It's a season that brings families together, fills homes with warmth, and inspires a sense of unity and goodwill across the nation. For generations, it's been a time when political differences are set aside, if only for a moment, and leaders reach out to the country with messages of hope, peace, and togetherness. Traditionally, presidents use their Christmas addresses to rise above the fray of politics, offering words that seek to unite Americans of all backgrounds. These speeches are carefully crafted to reflect the nation's shared values, faith, family, and the promise of a better tomorrow. But in 2025, President Trump shattered expectations and broke with the solid sign of Worthy distinctions. Instead of a single unifying message, he delivered two sharply contrasting Christmas greetings, each tailored for a different audience and each revealing a different side of his presidency. On Christmas Eve, Trump took to Truth Social, his favored platform, to post a fiery and unapologetically partisan greeting. In his message, he mixed traditional holiday wishes with pointed attacks on his political opponents, highlighting what he saw as the failures of his critics and the successes of his own administration. The post was a blend of celebration and confrontation, reflecting the combative tone that has defined much of his political career. Later that evening, the White House released a second statement, this one far more traditional in tone. It focused on the themes Americans have come to expect: faith, family, and the spirit of giving. The official message called for unity, compassion, and reflection, echoing the language of presidents past and offering a stark contrast to Trump's earlier post. This dual approach, one message crafted for his loyal base, another for the broader nation, captures the essence of Trump's unique and polarizing style. It's a strategy that both energizes his supporters and deepens the divide with his critics. The result is a holiday season that feels as divided as the country itself. Each message resonated differently depending on who was listening. Some felt inspired, others alienated. It's a vivid reminder of the deep divisions that continue to shape American life, with every word carefully chosen to speak to a particular audience. As we examine both messages, we gain insight into Trump's priorities, his political strategy, and the ongoing culture war at the heart of his presidency. In this unprecedented Christmas, the nation saw not just a holiday greeting, but a reflection of the challenges and complexities that define America today. On Christmas Eve, while many Americans were settling in for a night of family, tradition, and peace, Donald Trump took to his social media platform, Truth Social, to deliver a message that was anything but traditional. In a season typically marked by goodwill and unity, Trump's post stood out for its combative tone and unmistakable political edge. He opened with a line that instantly grabbed attention: "Merry Christmas to all, including the radical left scum that is doing everything possible to destroy our country, but are failing badly." It was a greeting that doubled as a warning shot, blending holiday cheer with a pointed attack on his political adversaries. This wasn't just another seasonal platitude. Instead, it was a calculated move, one that energized his loyal supporters, who saw it as a sign of unwavering strength, and at the same time, it infuriated his critics, who viewed it as a stark departure from the spirit of the holiday. The post quickly went viral, sparking heated debates across dinner tables and social media feeds nationwide. Supporters praised Trump for telling it like it is, while detractors accused him of deepening divisions at a time meant for togetherness. Sent from his Mar-a-Lago estate, the message was more than just a holiday greeting. It was a performance that blended the roles of former president, relentless political fighter, and even a kind of holiday figure, one who refuses to step out of the spotlight, even for a single night. While Trump participated in family traditions like tracking Santa with NORAD, his Christmas Eve message dominated headlines and news broadcasts. The holiday, usually a time for quiet reflection, became a stage for political theater, with Trump ensuring his voice was the loudest in the room. The timing was no accident. With much of the political world on pause, Trump seized the narrative, making sure his message would echo into Christmas morning and beyond. Strategists noted how he filled the vacuum, refusing to let his opponents or the media set the tone. For his base, this was a display of strength and authenticity, a leader who never backs down, not even on Christmas. For his opponents, it was a troubling reminder of how far presidential norms have shifted, and how the lines between politics and personal moments have blurred. In the end, Trump's Christmas Eve proclamation made one thing clear. For him, the political fight never takes a holiday, and even the most sacred traditions are fair game in the ongoing battle for America's future. After his combative opening, Trump listed what he called his administration's major victories. He claimed to have ended open borders, stopped men and women's sports, and restored strong law enforcement. These points hit the core issues of his base: immigration, gender and crime, framing his presidency as a restoration of traditional values. Trump positioned himself as the only leader capable of protecting American communities and upholding common sense. This list wasn't just policy, it was a narrative of national revival, designed for easy repetition by his supporters. For Trump, these achievements proved he was delivering on promises and rebuilding the nation. The message: he's not just fighting, he's winning. Trump's message also spotlighted the economy, touting a record stock market, low crime, no inflation, and a 4.3% GDP growth. He argued these numbers proved his America First policies were working, creating jobs and wealth. Trump linked economic strength to national security, claiming tariffs brought trillions in growth and made America safer. He emphasized bringing manufacturing back and reducing reliance on foreign countries, especially China. We are respected again, perhaps like never before. God bless America, he declared. The message: under Trump, America is strong, prosperous, and respected on the world stage. This blend of economic and national security success is central to his case for leadership. In contrast, the official White House Christmas statement was calm and traditional. It focused on faith, family, and the birth of Jesus Christ, steering clear of politics and controversy. The message appealed to the nation's religious values and the spirit of Christmas, offering unity and hope. This softer tone was a deliberate shift, fulfilling the ceremonial expectations of the presidency. Trump's dual messaging, combative online, unifying in official statements, lets him speak to both his base and the broader public. The Christmas messages of 2025 perfectly illustrate this strategy. They show a president balancing fierce partisanship with the solemn duties of his office. The official message delved into faith, recounting the story of the first Christmas and its spiritual meaning. Trump vowed to defend the values that make America one nation under God, framing his presidency in moral terms. The message resonated with evangelicals and social conservatives, tying his political mission to spiritual foundations. It also honored the military, thanking service members spending the holidays far from home. This gesture transcended politics, uniting Americans in gratitude for those who protect the nation. By highlighting faith and service, Trump aimed to bring the country together, if only for a moment. The message was a call to remember what unites Americans, even in divided times. Trump's Christmas Eve message was bolstered by a major announcement from the Department of Homeland Security. DHS revealed that, since the Locke-and-Riley Act became law, federal agents had arrested 17,500 criminal illegal immigrants. This announcement was timed to reinforce Trump's claims of restoring law and order. The numbers gave his rhetoric credibility, showing tangible results from his policies. DHS Secretary Kristi Noem credited Trump for the crackdown, framing him as a strong leader fixing his predecessor's failures. The announcement became a central talking point, coordinated to amplify Trump's holiday message. It paired aggressive rhetoric with real data, strengthening his law and order credentials. The Locke-and-Riley Act, signed into law in January 2025, stands as the centerpiece of President Trump's renewed immigration policy. The legislation was introduced in response to a national outcry following the tragic death of Locke-and-Riley, a college student whose murder was allegedly committed by an undocumented immigrant. The case quickly became a rallying point for those demanding stricter border controls and tougher enforcement of immigration laws. Named in her memory, the law requires federal authorities to detain and deport any undocumented immigrant who is arrested or charged with a crime, regardless of the severity of the offense. This means that even those accused of minor infractions can face immediate removal proceedings. Supporters argue that this approach closes loopholes and prevents future tragedies by ensuring that anyone who poses a potential risk is swiftly dealt with. For Trump's supporters, the Locke-and-Riley Act is more than just a law. It's a symbol of his commitment to public safety and national security. They believe that every arrest under the act represents a crime that might have been prevented, and see the policy as a direct response to their concerns about border security and crime. However, critics warn that the law is overly broad and could lead to the detention and deportation of individuals for minor, non-violent offenses. Civil rights advocates argue that it undermines due process and risks separating families, while also straining local law enforcement resources. They fear that the policy could create a climate of fear among immigrant communities, discouraging cooperation with police and making everyone less safe. Despite these concerns, the law remains extremely popular with Trump's political base. For many, it's a defining part of his identity as a leader who takes decisive action and follows through on campaign promises. The act has become a rallying cry at political events, with supporters viewing it as proof that Trump is willing to do whatever it takes to protect American citizens. The Department of Homeland Security's announcement of 17,500 arrests under the new law was widely publicized by the administration as evidence of its effectiveness. Officials highlighted these numbers to demonstrate the immediate impact of the legislation and to reinforce the message that the government is taking concrete steps to secure the border and enforce the law. President Trump's message is clear. He identified a problem, pushed for a solution, and delivered results. The Laken-Riley Act is presented as a tangible achievement, showing his ability to turn campaign rhetoric into real-world policy. For his supporters, the law is powerful evidence that Trump keeps his promises and puts the safety and interests of Americans first, reinforcing their trust in his leadership as the nation heads into another election year. The dueling Christmas messages of 2025 perfectly reflect America's deep divisions. Trump speaks to two Americas, one message for his loyal base, another for the nation at large. His Truth Social post energizes supporters with conflict and victory. The official statement offers unity and tradition. This strategy keeps his base engaged, even as it alienates others. The balancing act highlights the tension between the desire for unity and the reality of polarization. Trump didn't create these divisions, but he's mastered navigating them. His Christmas messages show a president who thrives in conflict, yet still fulfills the ceremonial role of unifier, capturing the fractured, resilient spirit of the country.